what's your position?
Sure. My name is Peter Miller. I'm the Director of Community Development for the City of Westfield.
Thank you. How do you feel the opening of dispensaries has affected Westfield?
Generally, it hasn't. For the most part, it's been a seamless opening. We've had one at Cannabis Connection up near the Turnpike for about a year and a half now, and we haven't seen any major impacts from a public safety perspective. It's really filled in like any other business might have.
Do you have any information on the economic impact of dispensaries?
Sure, we have some. For the most part, I mean, the biggest economic impact has been from the added jobs. So we've actually approved 9 different marijuana-related businesses to date, and each of the, like combined, those are expected to, over the course of the next 2 years, create about 100 jobs in the community. As of now, Cannabis Connection and HECA are the 2 dispensaries that have been opened. Cannabis Connection was opened about a year and a half ago. HECA opened in early October. To date, we've received about $450,000 in tax revenue from the program through the excise tax that's levied on it on marijuana sales. So that's been a help, and certainly as the business matures, we'd anticipate additional tax revenues in the form of property taxes. There are a few new buildings that are going up.
Oh, okay, thank you. What has been the community's response to the dispensaries?
It's been fairly muted, depending on which project you've gone through. Really, the primary response has gone through the planning board. We have denied a couple of applications to date, but the 2 that are open have been received well. There hasn't been, like I said, much of an impact. But there's still some skepticism around the business itself and what it would mean for the community in neighborhoods. So we've seen that play out through the zoning process. But as far as them being opened, since they've opened, it hasn't been a major concern.
All right. Do you think people are opening up to the idea of marijuana now that dispensaries are popping up around Massachusetts?
I guess so. I mean, I think it depends on who you're talking to and what community you're in. Certainly, some communities have really gone in full freight with no major concerns. Others have not allowed for it to be allowed in their community. Westfield, we kind of taken a measured approach to it. We've limited where we're allowing it, but it's only allowed in industrially zoned districts. But it's, I mean, generally, I think from the population, it really hasn't caused the major stir that certain people had thought that it might.
Yeah. Do you believe that the good outweighs the bad when marijuana is used responsibly?
I don't feel qualified to answer that question.
Sure. Do you know what the plans are with the, do you know what the plans are with the extra tax money that's being received from the dispensaries, like where it's going to?
So we have, I mean, there's a number of places that we're required to place it. We do have a dedicated source of revenue now for our addictions program through our health department. We have a staff member who is really in charge of coordinating our effort to stop the opioid crisis, or to at least work with families who have been impacted by it. So we've certainly done that, and the rest of it, really, the excise tax revenue is part of our general fund. It will go to funding all sorts of things in the community, whether it's education, public safety, roads, all that kind of thing.
So since Westfield State is located here, do you have, or have you had conversations with the administration about how the dispensary might affect it, or like marijuana use?
We haven't. No, it hasn't really put itself out there as a major issue for us. I think, and I don't know much about what the university's policies are up there, but I'd anticipate that it's a lot along the lines of smoking. But certainly now, with edibles and other ways to consume, I think it gets a little bit more challenging for them to police up there, but we really haven't had any major discussions with them about it.
Do you believe the future taxes for the dispensaries is going to increase, decrease, or remain the same?
I would expect it to increase. I mean, it's still a fairly new business, fairly new industry that's still maturing and finding that their place with the new market. Westfield, right now, we have only 2 of our 4 licensed shops have opened. So I would anticipate that there will still be some growth. I think most of the growth has probably occurred already. I don't know that there's a huge new market for them to tackle, but as more open, I think the early adopters, the early people who opened earlier, are going to have seen their record profits now, and they'll start to wane a little bit with more people in the space.
Do you believe having dispensaries is going to affect the culture of Westfield?
It hasn't, so I wouldn't anticipate it. We only have 4. We were only allowing for 4. The city council made the determination that they didn't want them in any of our really visible locations. They're not allowed in our highway retail districts. They're not allowed in our downtown. So it really hasn't had a major impact. I would expect that socially people are reconsidering what they thought about use, but really not a lot of impact.
All right. Last question: was there a demand for dispensaries to open in Westfield before Cannabis Connection opened?
I mean, I don't know. I guess they were very early. I mean, I mean, obviously Northampton and East Hampton and a few other communities beat us to market. The planning stage for opening one of these is extremely challenging, but they started right from the beginning. Them and HECA both were really early into the process at the state level. So it didn't really give a long time for demand to really pent up on it. So I think they've addressed their market. They're doing well from all indications, but yeah, I don't think there was a major concern early.
All right, thank you.
Yes, thank you very much.
All right, very good.